Welcome to DRB Tunnel Solutions training. In this training, we're going to take a look at a primer for using Patheon Insights 2.0. Let's get started. Patheon Insights 2.0 is a companion dashboard system that's available within your Patheon system. To log into Patheon Insights 2.0, there's two ways to get there. First, from the Patheon portal, you'll notice at the top of the screen, if you have Insights access, the Insights 2.0 will be one of the menus listed there. You'll notice when you click it, it'll bring you to insights.drb.com. If you're already logged in, it'll bring you to your dashboards. If you're not logged into Insights, you'll be presented with the Insights login here. You can also get here by directly going to insights.drb.com. And in fact, this is what you can use on your mobile device in order to create a shortcut, but more on that later. Let's first try to log in with a specific user I've set up called Reports User to Insights. We put in our username, password, and our client code, which is for the entire organization. We'll click Login. You'll notice that if you do not have Patheon Insights access, you'll get a restricted access section. And you can hit home to go back to insights.drb.com. However, if you don't have the access yet, even reloading or going back will not allow you access. You have to set up access within the Patheon system for your specific user. Let's take a look at a couple ways to do that. First, we'll take a look at my Reports user. My Reports user has a custom role that I've set up called Reports View. There are two things that are required in order to get Patheon Insights access. First, you'll notice that under the Credentials section, there's an Insights Access Yes or No question. If we click the Edit pencil here, you'll notice that I can click a radio button that gives me Insights access. But you'll notice that when I save that, if I don't have another role that has access to Insights, it will still be no, because Insights access requires not only that radio button to be selected, but also that you have a specific role that has Insights access. So if you have any on-site roles like Site Employee, Shift Manager, Tunnel Loader by themselves, those roles will not give you access to Patheon Insights. The built-in roles in the system that do give you access to Patheon Insights are Site Admin, Client Admin, and the Patheon Administrator. Keep in mind that each of these roles may have other permissions that you don't want to give the employee that you give Insights access. So what I would suggest is that you actually create a custom role. You do that by clicking Add Role and type something like Insights Access as the capability that you want to give. You would select 5 lowest level access. Under Portal, you'd go down to Insights Access and click View. We'll go ahead and click Save. And now, if I add the Insights access to my Reports user as the new custom role by clicking the name, clicking the edit pencil next to roles, and adding the new role that I just created called Insights access. We then specify typically your home site. Click Save. And we'll go back to Patheon Insights. I'll now just reload. And you'll notice that by giving Insights access, I now have access to the Insights dashboards. When you're first brought to the Insights dashboards, you can select the home site. You'll click the radio button next to the site you most often use and the site that you want to be the default site for the dashboards that you run. If you click the name of the site directly, you'll be brought to the Today dashboard. Today gives you today's car counts, the car counts for the month, and revenue numbers for today, this month, sales dollars per car, and sales dollars per car this month. Keep in mind that these are all revenue dollars that come in for reloads as well. So in my particular instance, we have a lot of reloads and not very many cars, so we have some pretty crazy numbers here. You get a number of plans sold per day, your total active plan vehicles, and this is not plans, but actually vehicles. Keep that in mind because sometimes when you see this statistic, you'll see planned vehicles, sometimes you'll see plans, and you'll wonder why they're different. Keep in mind that if you have fleet or family plans, you're going to have many more vehicles than you have plans. You're going to see your capture rate. So I sold one car today and it was a plan. Capture rate for the month. And if you have an integration with a labor system, currently we support ADP or deputy, you'll get cars per labor hour today and cars per labor hour this month. To show today for other sites, you can go back home and click the other site. Patheon Insights dashboards are separated into 4 different dashboards. First, let's take a look at Financial Outlook. The e-commerce section is going to show your e-commerce sales for today, weekly, monthly, or yearly by default. And it'll use the last selected system. So if we want to select a new site, you can click the picker, select all, and click apply, and it shows you all e-commerce sales for all sites within the organization. It shows you by default today we have 4 transactions from one specific site totaling $36.99 in sales. You can see our weekly numbers, and you can pick the current week or completed weeks in the past. We'll select current week. We see we have a few more transactions, monthly, current month by default, etc. To get statistics of those transactions, you're going to click the transaction stats, and this will break down what types of sales were done in the e-commerce site. For example, we see that we have the sold breakdown here, and then we have a revenue breakdown here. You may be a little confused that we see all the unlimited plan revenue, but we don't actually see any gift card or prepaid revenue. Keep in mind that gift card or prepaid revenue by default in the Patheon system is stored on the accrual basis of accounting, meaning that we're not actually going to book revenue until those gift cards or prepaids are used. So you're going to see a smaller number here. Basically, in my system, I'm selling a lot of gift cards and not using them. You'll see a breakdown of sales counts by month, and you'll see the breakdown of revenue by month as well. And then you'll see the transaction count breakdown overall and the revenue breakdown overall by transaction. The liability section goes into more detail of what we were just talking about. When you sell gift cards and prepaids, you basically are recording a liability associated with those gift cards or prepaids behind the scenes. So we see what was added as far as a liability. Bonus cash would be if you are selling, for example, a $100 gift card for $75, you'd have $25 bonus cash added to the card. You would see what was used and the gift cards used as well. And then you actually have a list of your active gift cards on the main page. When you go to the prepaid statistics section, you'll see the number of codes sold, the bonus units added, prepaid units redeemed, and remaining. And then you're going to see this breakdown. Keep in mind, like I said, I'm selling a lot more than we're actually using at this demo site here. But you're going to see a breakdown of your sold versus redeemed as well for your different prepaid types. So you're going to see what's the most popular sold, but then you're also going to see which ones aren't coming back as far as redemptions. You're going to see the paid units and when they were put into the system or sold into the system, and then you're going to see instantly redeemable units sold. These are things like wash code tickets sold from tablets or sold from your POS system. Lastly, under the liabilities, the prepaid code section gives you the units added, units remaining, total units remaining, and then the prepaid codes specific that have those values on it. Keep in mind that most dashboards, you can right-click and show the dashboard as a table. And although it seems a little bit hard to find, in the very upper right-hand corner here, there's a little more options button. And when you click that, you can actually export this data as well. Here we're going to export the summarized data into a CSV file and click export. It'll take a while to chug through and create that export, but once it's created, you'll be able to download it directly to your computer and use something like Excel or a different program to take a look at that information. Next, we have rewash analysis. And we'll take a look at last week. Here we have the total rewashes, the percentage of total, if it's high enough to actually calculate. We had one total rewash of all our washes last week. You have your average daily rewash, and then the breakdown of rewashes by type and also by reason. Notice here we had bad customer service experience set up as our reason. Keep in mind the reasons that you see here, such as bad customer service experience, could be a custom reason. You can set up your reasons in the Patheon portal. If you go into the customization section and then reason management, you'll see that we have rewash reasons set up in here. Bad customer service experience, bad wash, dirty car, etc. Maybe we think that the other reason is too generic, so we can remove that. We'll go ahead and add a new rewash reason, and we'll say something like equipment malfunction. Save. And now when we go to the POS and we select a rewash, we'll see our new reasons available to us here. Once that's recorded, it'll show up in the rewash analysis dashboard. Sales Insights allows you to view for your specific sites or group of sites your sales statistics, which break down, first of all, your revenue trends for the current month, including a heat map of sales, the darker days being your heavier sales days, your revenue numbers month over month, your revenue per car month over month, and for the current month, plan wash statistics, including unlimited plan sales, lobby, wash, and a la carte breakdown. Your operational efficiency dashboards allow you to use these dashboards to run your operation. For example, you can take a look at your hourly car count for the day. As the day goes on, you'll be able to see the breakdown. You can compare today versus your 60-day average to see if you are on track or not. You can see the current cars washed and the weather information. You can also see the average cars washed per hour today. If you go to the sales breakdown, you'll see today's revenue, revenue per car, and then breakdown by product type, whether it's unlimited plan or a wash. Whether or not you have the labor integration, you will be able to see your top sellers, and we have an employee called Seed Manager that's actually selling my washes today. If you do have the time clock integration, you'll also see the employees working and who's available to work, how many hours they've had this week, for example, and their contact information. The plan statistics dashboard gives you a quick statistics for the site that's selected. For your plan sales, you can see how many were reloaded today, yesterday, this week, this month, how many plans were lost today, yesterday, this week, this month, and then your percentage of cars today for the current month, previous month, unlimited cars washed as counts, and then your percentage of revenue, as well as unlimited dollars per wash. The labor dashboard does require that you have hours and wage information that comes over from your labor integration with either ADP or deputy. But it will show you your cars per labor hour, labor cost per car, labor percentage, etc. And you can show it daily, weekly, monthly, yearly for your individual site or for all sites. You can then get a breakdown of cars per labor hour by the hour, labor cost per hour by the hour, and labor percentage by the hour as well. You can get some quick stats, such as today's cars, cars per labor hour. These are today's quick stats, weekly quick stats, monthly, and yearly. And then you can also get a peek into employee scheduling information, including a contact list, who's worked today, who's in overtime, clock in, clock out, etc. Another dashboard that's available to us is under operational efficiency. And this is if you're migrating from one system into Patheon. You'll notice that this will show all sites by default, as you can migrate multiple sites into a single site. Now, this one, even though it shows day, week, and month, you would need to actually select the date or the month in which the migrations happened. For example, in my demo site here, my migrations happened on January 1st. So I'd have to go back to January 1st and click Apply. And here we would see the sites that had information migrated in that month. We see the plans migrated and the vehicles migrated. Remember that in Patheon versus the old SiteWatch system, the planned vehicle number here was the old plan number in SiteWatch, whereas the plan number now for multi-vehicle plans, you may import more vehicles than plans, and that would make sense if you have family plans or fleet plans from the SiteWatch system that are converting over. Now, keep in mind that this migration dashboard actually doesn't finalize its information until at least one plan reload after the initial import. So if you have single month plans, it would be at least 1 month after January 1st, plus any retry days before we finalize this plan's reloaded number. Once we've gotten past that point, this number will become a static number, and this will give you the migrated plan churn. Now keep in mind, if you're coming from our SiteWatch system where we're using the same processor and the same tokens, typically your natural plan churn would be about the same as your migrated plan churn. However, if you're coming from a third-party system and you have to do something like recapturing the credit card in the Patheon system, and you have some customers that, for example, might not show up to the wash to get their card updated, this number may be much higher in those scenarios. If you have multiple sites within your organization, the multi-site statistics will give you totals for all sites, plans sold, capture rate, etc. And you'll see your breakdown of sites at the bottom. We'll go ahead and click on yearly and see if we have some statistics for other sites within our organization. We'll select all sites from the site picker at the top. And we now see the comparison of information of all the sites in our organization for the year. This would include your total car count, your dollars per car, how many paid single washes and unlimited plan washes you did, your prepaid redeems, rewash counts, etc. So this is really a multi-site breakdown of all of your site statistics by the day, week, month, year, etc. Sales comparison allows you to compare your specific sales today versus yesterday, this week versus last week, this month versus last month, this year versus last year, for example, as the default using your default site. So we can see today versus yesterday, and keep in mind that this graph will build as your day goes on. This is early in the morning today, so I'm only seeing it up through 8 a.m. today through yesterday. It'll update and break down as you go throughout the day and show you additional hours. If we look at this week versus last week, for example, we see the breakdown in days, and we're so far to the current day of the week. You can see this month versus last month, and this is a breakdown of the days of the month. And then this year versus last year. You can see your daily stats comparison for all of your sites, your average car count for all of your sites, and the car counts by specific weekdays for all of your sites. These are very useful statistics when it comes to forecasting, which can be helpful for how many folks do I need on the clock. The site comparison allows you to compare specific sites to each other directly. It'll default to all versus all, but you can change which sites you're comparing. And here, our second site doesn't have any data, so it's a pretty easy comparison. But you're going to see the first site in yellow and the second site in blue. You can then look at specific days of the week and compare the breakdown of washes by weekday. You can look at the monthly stat comparison, capture rate for your sites, reloads for sites, plan reloads for the month, etc. As well as the running totals. The weather dashboard is going to give you your today weather for your specific site, which is probably the most useful and most meaningful information to run your business for that day. This includes a 4-day weather forecast, today's weather forecast, including highs and lows, precipitation percentage, and an hourly forecast. If you want to view the weather in more detail, you'll click View Weather. And this will give you kind of a breakdown of weather for the current month by default, and you can change to specific months. You'll see the weather in the icons. You'll see the monthly average summary of the weather, and then you're going to see the car count breakdowns on specific days. Low days or days that you're maybe closed, for example, you're going to see highlighted in red. The Almanac is another way that you can toggle between the View Weather Almanac and the overall statistics for that day. Your plan analytics dashboards will allow you to go through and take a look at your members. By default, this is going to show your member analysis. Select all sites. The best way to use member analysis is to filter by status. This will show you your active, discontinued, expiring, terminated, transferred in, transferred out customers. Maybe I want to look at just my discontinued customers because I want to run a campaign where I contact them back. Here we can see my discontinued customers. You can see their statistics when they started, ended, and then you have their contact information available as well. The plan analysis dashboard shows you your active plans, your active plan number, your total plan vehicle count, which then tells us how many of those vehicles are from multi-vehicle plans and how many are on single vehicle plans. You can see the breakdown of plans by site, their home site, as well as your plans, who's in grace, who's discontinuing, who's suspending, and who's suspended. And then you can see a breakdown by the specific plan types. In my demo site, we have tons of plans, so this is a little bit difficult to see everybody that's in each plan. But as you go around the list, you can see the different plans that are highlighted there. You can look at your historical plan statistics over the last 30, 60, or 90 days. And those will update here on the breakdown charts. Your plan stat numbers, such as your plan ticket average, your average plan count month to month, the monthly washes of those plan customers, total plan washes, the average monthly washes total, the total plan washes, and then the percentage of your washes that are plan washes, and then you can see the breakdown by sites. The active plans is a list of all plan customers. Again, you can click the little ellipsis and export the data if you like. Plans that are churning, you see this list as well with information that you can export. And then any plans that are in suspension, you can see who they are. By default, your plan churn statistics will be the churn percentage, the plans ended. It gives the breakdown for all sites within your organization, how many plans ended, how many were voluntary or involuntary churn. Voluntary means the customer ended it either through discontinue or terminate, whereas involuntary means we tried to charge the card and weren't able to reload. You can then see who is churning. You can also see who is lost by month or year by picking a specific month, starting and ending numbers. And then your churn history, which is more of trends over time. Reloads dashboard will tell you how many plans reloaded today, how many plans were manually reloaded via a button, and how much recurring revenue was saved via the reload button. You can also look at your current reloads, current month versus previous month. You can look at reloads month over month. So how many paying customers did I have? And then you can look at your history of declined, discontinued, unpaid, and revenue for 30, 60, 90 days. The usage dashboard gives you how many plan redemptions you had and then the breakdown of your plan customers. Of all your plan customers, we had over 28,000 that didn't visit at all, 3,600 that visited once, and then we see that distribution of the number of visits. You can see the number of customers that have redeemed more than 4 times a month and less than 2 times a month. To get a breakdown of slightly redemptions, you'll go to the Plan Redemptions tab. Plan wash statistics shows your average plan member tenure, your average wash per plan, your oldest plan redeemed in months, and then the unlimited plan number of washes, and plans with less than 4 washes. And that'll break down by site as well. Customer details, you can actually filter for specific redemption counts. So this is total lifetime redemption. We'll show you the yearly usage or monthly. So we're going to go ahead and look at a specific month. And you could change months, sites to specific times. And you can also filter by the overall redeemed count during the period that you are searching. And then SiteWatch historical dashboards will be, if you are a conversion customer, you can look at your general sales data, labor statistics, plan analysis, plan churn, and multi-site historical information from your SiteWatch system. We're going to start by opening the Chrome browser and navigating to insights.drb.com. Once there, we'll hit the 3 dots on the right-hand side and click Add to Home Screen. We'll rename our shortcut Patheon Insights 2.0. And click Add. We'll click Add to place this on our home screen. We'll then go back to the home screen by pressing the button at the bottom and click the icon to make sure it works. We'll type in or enter our saved credentials and our client code. to log into Insights 2.0. Once in Insights 2.0, we have access to several helpful dashboards. For example, we can navigate from the home screen at the top to current statistics, and then select today's car counts by clicking here to select a site, and clicking on our North Coast Car Wash commercial site to bring up the car counts for that specific site. And that's adding a home screen icon to your Android device. Now we're going to take a look at making a shortcut in iOS. If you open the Safari web browser, you can tap the bottom and go to insights.drb.com. If you press the share icon at the bottom of the screen, you should be able to scroll down and click Add to Home Screen. You can name it Patheon Insights 2.0. And click Add. The icon now shows up on your home screen with a P. You can press that and go directly to Insights in the future. If you've saved your password, you can log in by merely typing your client code. Once in Insights 2.0, you're able to navigate around to many helpful dashboards to help you manage your car wash. Here we'll look at current stats, the Today's Car Counts section for our commercial site. After selecting North Coast Car Wash Commercial, you'll see Today's Car Counts show up. And that's creating a shortcut for Insights on your iOS device. And that's Patheon Insights 2.0. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please send them to training@drb.com.